Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. How you doing, bro?
I am well. I am doing well. How are you doing there in South Carolina?
Oh man, I'm trying to catch up with my rest, man. I tell you, but it keeps rolling. Can't do it. Mm-mm. Yeah, so uh, I got some more traveling to do, inshallah, between now and first of the month.
Oh wow,
I
where are
go
you headed?
to Florida, Miami, Tallahassee.
Okay. Those projects that you mentioned.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Trying to close it out.
Okay.
Mhm. So how's everything going in Texas, man? No
It's pretty
kings,
good. Pretty good.
no kings, man. No kings, brother.
Yeah, I was out there. I was out there yesterday with the
Mm-hmm.
rally and the march.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
I took every Saturday morning at 10, right around 10 o'clock. I meet with a
Mm-hmm.
group of and it varies. It'll vary from like 10 or 11 to maybe, I think the most we ever had was 20 young men between
Mm-hmm.
the ages of 19. The youngest is 19. The
Mm-hmm.
oldest brother is 32, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
So every Saturday morning, we get together for an activity. So
Mm-hmm.
we either meet at the gym, which is where we met, to work out
Mm-hmm.
together and talk, sit in the sauna, shoot the
Mm-hmm.
breeze, talk about things, or we'll go for a hike, or we'll go, there's an archery place, we'll go shoot some arrows, or there's a brother that
Mm-hmm.
does jujitsu, and we'll go
Mm-hmm.
and roll on some mats,
Mm-hmm.
and just chop it up, just talk about stuff,
Mm-hmm.
things going on in the world, relationships,
Mm-hmm.
education, employment, all that kind of stuff. So yesterday we met at the gym. We met at 10. Went through about an
Mm-hmm.
hour's of workout, sat in the sauna for a little while, and then we all went to the No Kings rally, and then we all, well, not everybody because it started to rain, so some people left, but several
Mm-hmm.
participated in the march as well. It was
Mm-hmm.
fun. It was good, and it's good to, there I have one son who's a little bit older than people in the group, and I got one son who yesterday was his 24th birthday, who's would kind of fit in the middle of the group,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of keeps me
Mm-hmm.
connected with how they think, even how how my
Right.
sons think, things that they're
Mm-hmm.
interested in, what's important to them, and
Right.
these kids see me work out, and most of them are not as strong as I am. So
Uh-huh.
they're impressed by me at age 68 that I'm doing things they can't do in the gym. So and that that I have a little bit of knowledge on my head, right? I mean a little bit. So they're
Yeah.
always interested. They're always giving me updates on things that they have accomplished and stuff like that. Like, I'm their leader or something. I'm not. I'm learning from them. They don't recognize that. But
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
so yeah, we had a good time.
Yeah,
We had a good time yesterday too. And they
that
got to
might
see a
be a
they got to see a
prescription.
mixed bag. They got to see a mixed
Yeah.
bag yesterday because at the
Mm-hmm.
rally,
That. Yeah.
man,
Mm-hmm.
you saw people carrying the communist flag. You saw all kind of lesbian and gay groups out there. I mean, you saw
Mm-hmm.
everything across the board. And
Right. Mm-hmm.
in this life, you have to be able to
Mm-hmm.
discern who's really
Mm-hmm.
on your side.
What's the best? What's your best interest as a human?
Exactly. And you have to
Uh,
do it in a way, you have to discern that and act in a way that doesn't diminish your capacity to
mm-hmm.
accomplish the things that you need to accomplish,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Well,
Like everybody I don't
I
agree
would
with,
say,
I can't go assassinate
hmm
those people
well, I think
just because I
that
don't
might
agree
be
with
a
them.
Yeah, that might be the formula for involving the one of the birds called culture, how to keep in
Hmm.
contact with the next generation and
Right.
develop that kind of system, you see?
Yep. Well, it has to be. If you don't have that link in
Hmm.
your rope will not hold you.
Hmm.
You will come tumbling down the mountain.
That's right.
That rope has to extend so that everybody can have a firm grasp of it, and then you can transfer information along
Yeah,
that rope.
yeah, I remember going to it was Gold's Gym, and I had been doing the barbells, and I said, well, every year that I'm alive, I'll add another pound to the barbell. So I was in my 70s, you know, and dealing with 70 pound weights at each arm,
Hmm.
each
Yeah. Oh yeah.
bench press. Yeah. So they looking at me. I said, well, but lately I've all I've been doing is just you know, walks, and then
Right.
little stretches, and then the uh, composition of what I eat. You know? So,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
now that I have slowed down because I had to travel a lot, I get back to the gym that's operated by one of the Hispanic brothers, Sacramento, his gym.
Okay.
That's uptown. So it's the best I can do out in the country, you know what I mean? But I got a lot of trees to cut. I got a lot of trees to cut, a lot of
Climb some
oh
trees,
man.
cut down some limbs.
And
Man.
plant and make and do some planting when the season
Hmm.
comes.
Right.
But you got to
Oh
get that
yeah.
equipment, man. Yeah, I mean, before I could take a shovel and a spade and turn over soil. No,
Hmm.
man, it ain't gonna happen. You got to get you a tiller, and
Oh yeah.
get on that tiller and rotate that soil because that's
Hmm.
a lot of times you hit them rocks and stuff, man. Or either that, or either learn how to drive a mule.
It's hard to find a good mule these days, man.
I'm telling you, man. That's
It's
a that's
hard.
a big yeah, that's gonna be a big business in a minute.
Yeah, there aren't that many people that raise mules anymore. Even in the
No.
small town where I grew up, when you go back out there, you drive around because a lot of my friends still live on plots of land or something, their piece they got from their father or something like that. They
Hmm.
built a little house on it. They're trying to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that kind of thing.
Hmm. Hmm.
Man,
Hmm.
you don't, what, two things you don't see very much of. You don't see mules and you don't see
Hmm.
donkeys.
Right. I saw one
Man,
yesterday. I saw a donkey
did you?
yesterday.
Did you? Okay.
Hmm. Somebody had a few donkeys on their property in the field. I
Mm,
said, well, you know, but
man, donkeys are important. Donkeys are smart.
I know, I know, I know.
And
Only time you see
donkeys will
them.
keep your herd. They keep your herd safe
That's
because
right.
they stalk snakes and stuff.
Oh
And
yeah, they are. I'm telling you. I was when I was teaching at Florida A&M University, they asked me what what school do I teach in, for those who didn't know me. I said, "Oh, I'm a veterinarian." They said, "No, I thought you were an architect." Nah, I'm a veterinarian. They said, how did you change to be a veterinarian?" Well, my job is to convince a donkey he's a racehorse. And a donkey, his head is anatomically larger than his body. And I got students who come in my class who think they know everything. They got big heads and they never listen. You know, donkey got big ears, but it seemed like he can't hear. I said, "Oh, I got a bunch of donkeys up in here." And he's always waiting for somebody to put a load on his back. He won't carry his own load, but he'll carry somebody else's load. I said, my job is to convert that donkey into a racehorse. I said, no, you're not a donkey. You're a thoroughbred. You know, you're an Arabian thoroughbred, man. That's your design, not a donkey. Oh man, my students they be falling out, man. I said, well, my man said, yeah, I guess you are veterinary. Because they had the same thing when their classes, you know, in their classroom, you got the same kind of effect, you know. I said, yeah, you all just, think on that. Same way with a lot of these politicians, man. Yeah, they know what's right and what needs to be done, and they don't. They're big ears, but they can't hear. Big heads and don't have anything in them in those heads, you know.
You know, on
So
that subject, sometimes I've come to believe that in the cases of some of them,
mm,
they actually have too many people who have access to their head.
mm.
They're no longer taking the time to just sit and really think based on sound values and sound beliefs of what the right course of action is. They have people pulling them
Yeah,
in so
see,
many different directions and offering them
yeah,
money and different things like that.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. So I'm not going to have a donkey as a mascot representing me.
Right. I wouldn't either.
I
I
said,
wouldn't
I
either
said,
because
and not only
my
that,
picture
but
my
see,
picture of a donkey is about what you described. The only thing I
uh-huh.
add to that picture is a whole bunch of flies flying around his head.
And
And,
he has a sexual appetite, you know.
of
Donkey.
course. Oh yeah.
So look, but the idea is this. Uh, I can't see why people think they got to be either or, an elephant or a donkey. I mean, I might be an elephant in the morning and a donkey in the afternoon. It depends upon
Or
the
from or
situation.
exactly.
What about the progressive?
Yeah, what am I
What about the
deciding?
progressive?
What am I
Yeah,
deciding?
exactly. That's
What
all it
topic?
is. It's not. You can't label me and put me in a pen or
Exactly.
a cell. No, you can't do that. You know, because life, the human life. If there's a very flexible, uh, human beings have flexibility. You know, I could be, I can look at something from the perspective in the morning that in the afternoon might change because of the dynamic nature of human development, and then and I'll support that, but you won't call it either red or blue,
Right. Right.
or it depends upon what's being discussed. It's not a either or neither nor. So no, independent. No, you can't be independent either because there's a lot of things that affect you financially and socially. But what about the human aspirations? Is there a party called the human beings? Yeah, human being has that flexibility and that potential to expand and contract and to uh, have a plan and know when to, as they say in Texas, hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run, you know?
Right.
So those are the things that, yeah, I mean, you can't put somebody in a bag and then you say, oh, he's a hypocrite. No, you don't even know what, you're not thinking. How can you be a hypocrite when you don't think and then make this a rational choice based upon rational truth? That's all. So we don't, you know, just because I wear a red shirt, that don't mean I'm MAGA. I just like red shirts. I like a black shirt. I like a blue shirt. I like a green shirt. Why you got to put me in some stuff like that? I'm bigger than the color. The color got to follow me. You know. So anybody else come on?
We've got
This
Imam Adam, we've got Imam Tariq, we've got Imam Omar. We're doing
Okay.
well this morning. How's
Assalamu alaikum.
everybody? Walaikum salam.
Walaikum assalam.
I guess we're waiting
Uh,
on a couple more people and our guest. Our guest going to join us this morning?
Inshallah. I talked with him last week.
Okay. All right. So let's
Uh,
I
Assalamu
think we've
alaikum,
got
everyone.
enough people to open. Walaikum assalam, brother Adam. Adam. Imam Tariq, will you open us up this morning?
Yeah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladhina an'amta alayhim. Ghayril mahdubi alayhim waladdallin. Ameen.
I mean,
I mean, very good. So, quick question, and I want to make sure that I'm not the only person who lives in the dark cave that never gets news. How many people knew that we had a 4-star African American admiral who was the head of United States Forces Southern Command before this past week? Everybody that knew that, raise your hand. Okay, so nobody knew. I didn't know, and nobody else knew. And I didn't know until he announced his resignation effective December 12th.
mm-hmm.
Why don't we get this news with all the jibber jabber that goes on in our community? African Americans supposedly talking about important things. Why don't we know that we had a 4-star admiral who was head of Southern Command?
that's the duty of the so-called Black Caucus. Uh, that should be one of their obligations uh, to show and to announce and advertise the achievements, wholly, not the uh, achievements based upon somebody giving you something, but the achievement that this man, this brother, has has accomplished. Those achievements, and that should be like a web page. For the Congressional Black Caucus. If they want to take on that leadership, that should be one of their assignments, and search out and show the development of the 250th year anniversary of America. So that's my take on it. Because somebody's not doing their job or thinking beyond their nose. How you going to get children and young people excited about the future and their possibilities? No, man, you got to show them that people have achieved. People have bestowed great and have knowledge and inventiveness. You know, this 250-year anniversary, and we are truly the only people can be called Americans, because we didn't have no reference of a country or language or culture. We got all that right here in this in the States. You know, so that's my take on it.
Yeah, I was astounded. It blew me out of my chair that I didn't know.
Yeah.
And now, I'm going down
Well,
rabbit holes trying to find other people, because he can't be the only one. And I'm not just talking about the military. I'm talking about all different walks of life that we need
That's
to
what I'm saying.
know.
There should be
well,
yeah. Mhm.
I'm not going to point blame at any one group. That's our failure as a people.
Oh, I agree.
I mean, there are many groups we got and that could put that out there, but we don't. You know, we don't even hear that from people that say they have knowledge of this country and want to report the news and things of that nature. We don't even have that. But if there's any more
Right.
out there, they better let us know, because pretty soon we're going to find out about a lot of ex-Black history in a minute
Exactly.
when they start getting rid of them.
Yeah.
To be truthfully speaking, I don't even want to know right now, because I know once we know, they're going to get rid of them. Leave us in the dark, you know. Let the brother or sister keep their job for a minute.
Yeah.
I was kidding with my UPS driver, a female, and I missed the package, right? So and I was saying something about, I forgot what I was saying about, but she was telling me, well, she made, what did she say? She made $45 an hour or whatever, you know. And she was bragging. I said, you better not say that too loud, because they don't get rid of you. She started laughing. Yeah, you're right. It's too much money for Negroes to make.
And if they only knew what it cost to replace that Negro making $45 an hour. Somebody knows, but they're not telling.
Yes. Most definitely.
Because it cost about $67 an hour to replace that $45 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Old master just had to grin and bear it.
Yep.
They'll move it overseas. Where it costs
Well,
about $5 or $6 to get it.
well, they have to wait until Trump leaves office to move it overseas. Because
Mhm.
if you send a postage stamp from overseas right now, the tariffs on it make it 5 times more expensive. Because there's some kind of a minimum postage fee due on anything coming from basically 80% of the world right now to the United States. No matter what it is, there's a minimum cost to get
Yeah.
it over here.
Yeah. And we have to
That's
add 15 to 20% more on the black seed oil, and
yeah,
just from that perspective,
no, exactly. Yeah, that's why a lot of the Chinese companies, they're doing like, I don't know exactly how they're doing it, but they're setting up US companies
Yeah, here.
to basically give you the same little inexpensive items that they were shipping you from Temu and all those different places.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't carry the name. They don't carry the same name. They have a different name here. And I don't know how I guess they figured out an economy of scale that allows them to do it and still make money, but they're doing it. They're actually doing the manufacturing or the hand assembly or whatever. They're doing it here within the United States. And they're doing it with, like, what are those people called? Day labor? Day labor people. So they're not responsible for the, paying into Social Security and different things like that. They just pay them a day rate. Whichever facility these day labor people coming out of, unless they're just actually snatching them up, herding them off the streets or whatever, have to cover all that stuff. But that's what they've been doing for about the last 6 months now, I found out.
I'm gonna get off. I'm gonna try to get in touch with Dr. Ali. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
let me see.
So did anybody other than me participate in the No Kings rallies and marches yesterday?
I was going to, but I said no kings, but I couldn't say no to the queen.
Okay, understood.
Okay,
Understood.
good.
One of those obstacles I currently don't have to deal with, but yeah, I 100%
No,
understand.
that's not what I'm talking about now.
Okay, which queen are you talking about?
That queen size bed I was in.
Oh, that queen. I understand. Even more so.
Man,
Even
I
more
got
so.
home late Friday, couldn't get to bed, and finally got to bed and got up, made salat. And the thing started at 10. I think it was 10, yeah, 10 o'clock. And I said, well, I'm gonna give me another hour sleep, and I overslept.
Okay.
So I said, well, then I had to get into the office and do a lot of stuff. So still dealing with that. Still dealing with new clients. I mean, not new,
Did you get
what?
it? Did you
Huh?
get everybody's stuff? You get everybody's stuff done? Or you still
Nope.
got some stuff
Uh-uh.
lingering? Okay.
I had to run of people that had two people in my office on a Thursday. First time bringing me stuff in
Wow.
and wanted me to get it done. No, they came in Wednesday and wanted me to get it done the same day. I said, I don't, no, no way. I got too much in front of you. One lady had four years to do.
Wow.
Another guy was an old time client. I ain't seen him in about 6, 7 years. So I'm like,
So
I'll pay you extra. I said, it ain't necessarily the money that I need, it's the time. If you can create, well, he's a preacher too. I'm gonna get down and pray. I said, well, if God ain't sending a legion of angels and prepare returns, that ain't gonna work.
oh,
That ain't gonna help.
that's a great story. I'm going to tell that story as if it's my own. That's a fantastic story. You go get down and pray.
Come on, man. Oh man.
So I have a quick question for you,
Yeah.
because my understanding is that the current administration has proposed and is very strongly pushing for the elimination of all of these pre-filing services. In other words, that the government won't like pay for it or however they were doing that, for people to just electronically file their tax returns for free. Have you
And
heard
I agree
anything
with
about that?
That's one thing. Y'all leave my president alone.
Man, allegiances shift so easily.
Leave him
They shift
alone,
so
because
easily.
these people be killing me. They don't know what they're doing. And they do the on returns, and 2 years later, they back in my office. Can you help me out? You know, remember they passed 1040 easy?
Oh yeah.
Can you believe I did more 1040 EZs that year?
How is that possible? 1040 EZ is basically if you can sign your name, it's done.
I understand, brother. And I don't mind. I don't charge them a full price, but I didn't mind at all. But I tell you what's killing me is this TikTok stuff. People seeing online with TikTok how to do the return, or
Oh my goodness, I hadn't heard that one.
Creating a what do they call that? What's that language again? Creating some kind of vehicle. A trust. That's what it is. Creating a trust.
Oh no.
Yes, sir. They one brother came off his ass this past week. He gonna tell me all the stuff he did. Right? And
Oh
said,
no.
God have mercy. This guy got a mess. I said, I don't specialize in trust. Well, I'm just don't want to pay no taxes. Okay, you and Trump. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So what about not doing it through nonprofits? Oh Lord have mercy. I said, brother, I don't specialize in that line of stuff. You want to do stuff the regular way, come back and see me.
So number one, nobody should set up should do their own trust. You have to get a professional to do that. But having said that, and you actually create a trust, are people not recognizing that trust pay taxes?
Brother, I'm not sure what they saw on TikTok, so I can't speak on it. I'm serious. If you see something on social media, you try to duplicate it, you're already out the game. And I'm not going to waste my time with it. There's enough people who want to do regular tax returns that I can help. Oh, no, brother came by Juma Friday. He didn't come to Juma. He came by before Juma because he knew we'd be there. And he wants to unite the black community. I want to get. And he told me, I'm going to all the pastors. I said, you lost me when you said that. Them pastors ain't got nothing about unity. But you might like this, Ed. I might send him to you. He's created he's tired of fiat money. So he created a cryptocurrency. He said, I'm gonna do it right.
Oh my God.
I said, but I'm not interested, brother. Seriously. Well, explain to me why. I'm just not interested. And he's gonna sell products, and if people buy like $100 worth of currency, he'll give them a 75% discount.
He is not long for this world.
Don't tell him that though. He got it all worked out.
He is not long for this world.
I said, oh, why I meet these kind of people? You know, first of all, they ain't none of them talking about using my services, but they want to divert what I'm doing to their mess. I said, I tell you what, you get the preachers to work together. If you get 50 preachers to work together, then call me. I know that ain't gonna happen, so I figure he won't call me. I won't hear from him again.
I couldn't get in touch with Brother Ali.
Okay.
Dr. Ali. Okay.
Okay.
Then he might be
Do we
maybe delivering
did
baby.
in your conversation or communication with him, did he share any more information about that situation? Like maybe we're guessing at the name of the credit union. Did he share with you the
No,
name of the credit union or anything?
I didn't ask him.
Okay.
I was just concerned about him being uh, informed of the meeting today, and he had mentioned that he would attend the meeting today with a couple more of his uh, associates, you know. So I was looking forward to that today. So
Definitely. Me too.
and he said he had mentioned to me that his his email and his YouTube and I think even his phone had been hacked. That's another thing that he mentioned to me. So I don't know whether he got it straight or not. But I just had gotten through to him on a line that wasn't messed with, you know.
Okay.
So I could tell, I could really tell what he's doing in Mississippi, you know, would probably qualify him to be messed with and tapped. So it wasn't a surprise to me. So
It's really to me, and this is not to cast aspersions on the brother or anybody else, because I hear these conversations from time to time. And I'm reminded of how many people there are in the world. Somewhere, people tell me somewhere around 8 billion people. And the capabilities of tapping phones, corrupting communication lines, et cetera, that is held by several governments of the world. And these very expensive systems, manned and operated by highly trained people, of why they would bother me, who can cause them absolutely no harm in their endeavors. And I come to the conclusion that they wouldn't bother me at all. And that probably goes for 99.999% of the people in the world. They barely know we exist. They're not going to spend any time tapping my phone, corrupting my phone, my communications, my computer, unless they're simply trying to get my credit card numbers or something that maybe I was stupid enough to enter into Google Pay. And if they get a hold of my credit cards information, they're going to be sorely disappointed because the credit limits are not that high. And they're going to just write me off and say, don't mess with that minnow ever again in life. It's a waste of our time. We spent more money tapping him or trying to corrupt him or steal his information than what we could ever gain from him. So one of these days, maybe we need to have a class on teaching people how to make sure that if anybody runs one of these phishing campaigns or, some kind of a mass, I don't know, what do they call those things where they just send a blast out and if you click on the link, it infects your computer and all your neighbors' computers, friends' computers. You need to run a class on how to avoid having that happen to you. Because it's not that hard to make sure that that never happens to you.
I agree with that. Not a day goes by when they don't try to get me. And I mean, like I get an email from Social Security Administration, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they want me to click on the link. So what I do, I put my cursor over the name
Yes,
to expose the email address.
exactly.
And then when I find out the email address is coming from Europe, Africa, whatever, it's bogus. Remember that client I talked about wanted me to do his return?
Mm-hmm.
Now we're in the office now. I got another client in there now. He tell me he got scammed out of $14,000.
Oh my God.
Wow. But then he told us, because my worker was there, another client was there, and I was there, told us how that happened. And it wasn't like they got fished his accountant or whatever. He had did something and ended up was about to pay too much. He said he owed some money in taxes or whatever. Somebody called him up, or he called them up. And they told him, first of all, he said they were going to help him, but he gave him access to his computer, which is done. That's done. And the guy said he made a mistake. Then the guy told him, in order to correct it, he needs to have him send him some money. I don't know how it got to him sending them $14,000, but here's how he did it. He put 4 packages together, wrapped them in a T-shirt, labeled them, and sent them. I mean, you got to be a special kind of dumb to go through all that. And then, why would you tell people you don't even know how you got took? I said, gosh, man. I should have done this return that same day and then had somebody call him and got $14,000 from him again. Oh, heavens. But you know the old saying, we from the street, you can't beat nobody unless they have larceny in their hearts.
That's right.
Somebody wants
Getting
something
something for nothing.
Mm-hmm. And them the ones that get beat. Now this is the preacher now.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Oh, that
There's a group of East Africans over in Tarrant County, the next county over from Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas area, and a friend of mine, Felicia Davis, who back in the days of beginning of this credit union effort, Felicia was a frequent visitor to the Sunday meetings. She used to work for Morgan Stanley as a banker. She probably has, I mean, directly owns $25-30 million worth of real estate that she inherited from her father primarily here in Dallas Fort Worth area. So obviously she leases a lot of space. People come to her all the time. But the interesting thing about these East Africans, now they run stores, I think they have 7 now, 7 gasoline convenience store locations, and just a lot of different shops, small shops and stuff like that. At the time she contacted me about helping them, they were sending about $2 million a month back to Africa to relatives and stuff over there. And and talking with them, and of course we don't have the credit union because they wanted to do business with the Muslim run financial institution. So actually, I directed them to the Bank of Whittier that I mentioned here about a month ago. Anyway, but in sitting and talking to them, now their level of financial sophistication is moderate at best. I mean, all these financial terms and doing this and doing that with money, and they're not up on it at all. And they're like anybody else. They got their smartphones and they got their pads and different things like that, and they're FaceTiming relatives and stuff, back in Africa. But I'm going to tell you something. These people are sharp as a freaking tack. To pull the wool over one of their eyes, you're going to have to be a magician of the highest order. I mean, you're so good, Pharaoh just had to sit back and watch you work. Man, they question everything. They don't move unless they're 100% convinced that it's 100% right and there could be no wrong in it. I never face such questioning from anybody on anything. No other race, no person of wealth ever asked me as many questions as those folks asked me. And it's kind of like reading the Quran. They'd ask me the same question 8 or 9 different ways. Just to see if they can catch me out in any way. And I think you have to kind of be like that. That unless you're willing and ready to give up your money, your sovereignty, whatever, you got to ask a lot of questions. So I'm hoping Dr. Ali shows up this morning because I did a whole week's worth of research, everybody.
Yeah.
on everything about credit union financial statements and questions one should ask and things one should know before taking over a credit union, merging with credit unions. I read the entire NCUA merger book. My eyes hurt on Thursday. I'm telling you, my program on Thursday on AM 360 was a mess because my eyes were hurting from all the reading I had done on the NCUA website. I was in pain, man. My eyes hurt. So I'm hoping they show up this morning.
Yeah. Okay. I'll try some other way. I'll try to find some other way to contact them. So.
Well, and the other thing I just thought about with everything I did this week, the one thing I didn't do is what you asked me to do. I did not send him an email with the link.
Okay.
I totally forgot that until this very moment. So I wonder if I send him the link right now.
Yeah, go ahead and try it.
Do any good?
I'll try it.
All right, so let's see if that works. And I hate that I made that mistake. That might be the issue.
Mhm.
What's going on while we wait on that? What else is going on in the world? What caught anybody's attention this week? Any good news out there?
Oh,
Ceasefire in
man.
Gaza. I mean, what else?
Phew.
I mean, that is actually good news.
What the
I mean,
ceasefire?
however tentative and however one-sided it is, the fact that for the most part, bombing and shooting has stopped.
It's still bombing now.
Yeah, a little. I mean, but
I
it's
mean,
not
well,
like it was.
if 6 or 7 people are killed, what
That's a,
consolation is to them is only a little.
Well, I mean, when you talk about human life, you're 100% right. But I actually think there might be more shooting of Palestinians shooting at other Palestinians than there are Israeli soldiers shooting at Palestinians right now.
What Palestinians are shooting what Palestinians?
The remnants of Hamas are engaged in armed combat with the Dogmush tribe and a couple of other tribes that are aligned with the Dogmush. This is a conflict that has gone on, I think, since maybe 07, 08, when
I hear,
they started fighting it out. I mean, this has
yeah,
been a long running kind of feud between these groups.
but I hear that was factions that were propped up by the Israelis.
True, 100%.
Okay,
They were
I'm just
working
trying
with
to
the
make your point
Israelis.
now.
Yeah, it's true.
All right, just want to make
Yep.
sure. Israelis' hands are still in there.
And Israelis, people here in the United States and other parts of the world will tell you that the Israelis were behind setting Hamas up when Hamas took power in Gaza.
Well,
And
I remember that. I remember that being reported when it happened.
right, yeah. So it's really hard there because so many of the Palestinians are jealous of each other, don't trust each other,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that it's hard to keep the Israelis out of it
It
because the
almost sounds like
Israelis,
Negroes.
it sounds exactly like Negroes. In
Well,
fact,
how did Negroes get jealous and mad at each other?
well, because of certain things coming out of the back door of old Massa's house. Some people got
Exactly.
some people didn't.
So I say that's rightly so that they're part of that.
Yeah. In fact, I made that comment to somebody last week that the Palestinians are the new Negroes.
Yeah, unfortunately.
They're gonna be working. Their ability to make a living is going to be dependent on whether or not they're willing to sweep floors and change beds and clean toilets for all
Mm-hmm.
those new resorts and exclusive neighborhoods that are going to be built in Gaza along the Mediterranean coast.
Well,
And that eight lane highway
yeah,
that they're going to put in there that separates all those exclusive developments from the rest of Gaza.
yeah. It's a shame. But unlike Negroes, when was the Caucasian afraid of Negroes being around cleaning the house and being close to them?
Well, never.
Go get some Israelis to hire some Palestinians to clean their house. So
Yeah.
to say they're new Negroes is totally inaccurate. Yeah, if it makes you feel good, Edward, North Carolina's trying to be like Texas.
So are you saying that because Texas tried to copy North Carolina?
Oh, okay. Well, it's coming back home then. Okay, I guess the professional ones, they're trying to redistrict again here.
Right. I read that.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And that district that they're trying to, because it's one particular district that they're focused on, if I'm correct. Is African American congressman in that district? Did I read that correctly?
Yeah, it probably is one. Because they honed out a district that was for African Americans. They probably trying to get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, there are a couple of districts that produce African Americans. So, unfortunately.
So that the Supreme Court case, and if I don't think that the Supreme Court has made a decision on the Louisiana redistricting yet, because they're basically what the proponents of that move on the Republican side is to really put a nail in the coffin of the Civil Rights Act as far as representation using the Louisiana case. That they could basically gerrymander a district to put all the African Americans in, I think, 2 districts in Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
And leave the rest of the state open. I mean, white folks fighting against white folks, whatever, leave me nobody to cheer for. But yeah, they're trying to basically reduce Louisiana down to 2 African American districts.
Yeah.
Which, if the Supreme Court allows that to happen, man, it would be a free for all.
Yeah, I was in my no kings mode yesterday, so I had a Caucasian. I found myself on a MAGA blog. I don't know how I got on there, and it was local Fayetteville people. Didn't realize that till I replied to one guy, and they had to check out where he's from. So I'm walking around town all day yesterday, turning around, watching my back, make sure anybody come out of my office and bomb it. Oh man, so it's one
History
guy.
seems to repeat itself. Mm-hmm.
Huh?
History has a way of repeating itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this guy talking about in terms of no kings, all presidents, he said all presidents wanted to be they wanted to be king. And I said, well, like who? He named Roosevelt and Abraham Lincoln. Studied the history of Roosevelt and Abraham Lincoln. I said, I guess in an effort to normalize the action of the current one, you only named 2 presidents. One free, and I said one freed the slaves, and the other through Executive Order 8802 ban racial discrimination in defense and government jobs. So are you suggesting they want to be king? Is that the king as in royalty or king as in MLK? I ain't heard from you yet. I had to put it down, man, because I got to live in this town, man. I don't want no bombs, and I don't want ICE raiding my office. But these guys, their mindset is, I mean, their logic is terrible, and they don't understand it. Anyway, just so you know, if you don't hear from me in a week or so, come check on me, okay?
I'm starting to check on everybody on almost a daily basis. I don't want people to start disappearing.
Man.
Well, I don't think you don't have to check on me, bro. All you know, because I'm gonna there'll be at least 2 burials. All right, at least my burial and the one I'm gonna take out with me. So don't worry about it. In fact, you know, I think a lot of it. I lived to be this long, this at this age, you know, and I'm sure I have. I mean, I have family tradition. And no, we, you know, as the boys say, the Caucasian from Europe said, "Give me liberty or give me death." No, you're not coming up in here talking about you the ice and I'm the cream. No. So I'll tell you all now. I love you, brothers, and I enjoyed being with you in this struggle for freedom, justice, and equality. So I say that beforehand, all right? But no, I don't have a desire to be walked on, be abused and done that way. Especially with ignorant. So if that's the time when Almighty God has wrote the date and the time for me, I have no argument. But that's why I say, I mean, I don't have too many people around me now. No, that's the thing, man. You know, and I think we've achieved quite a bit in the lifetime. So we don't want to go out backwards.
Nah, definitely not. So
no.
no, I was gonna inject some humor into the conversation because I have a Muslim brother out in LA who I correspond with every now and then. He's one of my so Adam has his MAGA people, Muslims, that he occasionally has fun with. So I have my anarchist Muslim brothers that I sometimes correspond with.
You talking about the original MAGA Muslim?
Well, those are your guys.
No,
that you go back and forth with them.
Yeah, I was on one yesterday.
Okay, so
I could call his name, but
mine are
MAGA
anarchists.
Muslim.
I called him the original MAGA Muslim because he's the first one to start pushing Trump. So he sent me a text message yesterday. Candace Owens invited to Islam after discovering Jesus in the Quran.
Dude, Wait a
Saw that.
second. We're talking about the same person.
I know we are. That's why I ain't called his name. Only me and you know.
So, right, because I call him an anarchist. You call him MAGA. I think he's lunatic fringe
with that too. So
because
I
he
sent
sent me
something
the
back.
same thing.
I sent him a text back. This is not validation that needs to be shared. What are you talking about? He said, explain. Then he put this one. Are y'all sitting down?
Yeah, I just sat down.
He said, Candace is probably the most important person in Islamic life next to Imam W. Muhammad.
Oh my God.
So I started shooting back, brother, are you drinking again? But I don't want to do it. So I said, did she take Shahada? I said, did she take her Shahada? He said, maybe yes, maybe no. But you are witnessing her moral, political stance against the genocide in Gaza, Israeli child sex trafficking and spying. She is number one in the whole world. Who's this guy? He put that all in caps. I said, my brother, you need to stay off social media. You're taking this stuff too personal, too serious. Then he said, I don't believe what you just said, Imam Adam B.I. So I sent it back I sent it back all in caps. I said, believe. Then he said, sound like a lot of disbelief in Allah, Adam. I said, then your ears are deceiving you. Right? And that was it. Everybody, I think you need to check the brother out now. Yeah, I'm
Dude, I've tried to talk to
about
him. I've actually gotten on the phone with him recently and tried to talk him down off that volcano. I tried. He's promoting her for president of the United States.
Come on.
Yes.
Maybe Stephen A. can be a vice president. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm thinking they would go hand in glove, man.
Lord have mercy. And there's a few others out there like that.
Really? Because I mean, he's the most just off of it, riding the ICBM yippee-yi-yay that I've ever come across.
I got one in North Carolina on the East Coast. Just as bad. And I call him old wise one. But I spell it WHYS. Now, why? Why'd you get it from?
Why?
And he claims he doesn't want to follow me, man, Muhammad, and remember, oh Lord.
Where you find these guys, man?
I don't know.
They find you. They find
I have
you.
no likely idea. I don't know what is it. Oh man.
How'd you all how did they find? I mean, I don't know, man. Let me see. I don't know what to say on this.
It's an interesting universe out there.
That bewilders me.
Man.
That bewilders me. I tell you that.
And they speak on what Imam Muhammad said. Oh, and I tell you, the brother in California, his problem was he read when the man wrote about the book why they want you to be rich.
Mm-hmm.
And he attributed to Trump. The man said that he was a good person or something like that. And he's been on that horse since the man said that.
Yeah, and that was a long time.
Back in the 90s.
Yeah.
So I told your buddy Edward, I said, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, check your brother. You never know when he turned devil overnight. Y'all remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I said, if your brother can turn devil overnight, what do you think Trump can do?
Oh yeah. Yep. And I remember, I can take you back to almost to the day that Trump turned from being a somewhat decent person to he doesn't believe in anything except his own personal pleasures and whims. And that was the day he missed a helicopter flight from the casinos in New Jersey that he owned back to Manhattan. And all of his senior VPs were on that helicopter, and he was supposed to be on it too, and it crashed and killed all of them.
Mm.
From that moment, he has not been the person he was before.
Maybe somebody will send him a message.
He got the wrong understanding of that message.
Well, I was thinking when they got him to represent that line, they were reminding him it could have been you too.
Yeah, that's it.
Same message they tried to give Obama when they had those two people at the White House.
Mm-hmm.
They probably gave him the same message. So, but there's a growing. I mean, I say growing. I don't know. It affects Muslims that have them not wanting to support Democrats. Which is the effect that Trump wanted to have, because
Right.
Between that and Biden being so openly against or in favor of the Israelis, but they don't realize that's an American position. That's not a Democratic Party position. That's an American position. And now we're seeing that.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. We not amongst African Americans. Well, not as bad amongst African Americans as amongst our immigrant brothers and their cousins, brethren, and sisters in the Middle East in particular, is an aversion to any kind of African related leadership, number one. And no, they have a problem. They have a problem. They have a big problem.
Oh yeah, they do. They definitely do.
They have a big problem with it. Even the Muslims in the Middle East who trend toward being more understanding, welcoming, all encompassing, at least in their public statements
Yeah,
and in the visuals that they show you.
yeah.
Man, when it comes to Africans and African Americans, they don't anything to do with the
Nothing.
leadership part of that. None of that. And the
But
only thing
they didn't even want Imam Muhammad. I think I told y'all what the Imam said at one of the conventions that when ISNA had its convention in Chicago the same weekend we had ours, right?
Mhm.
And I just got to the hotel and right up on the elevator, and in the elevator was Imam Muhammad, Brother Fleming, some other brothers, and they had just come back from meeting with ISNA. And the Imam said they're proposing a marriage. Talking about putting out two conventions together.
Mm-hmm.
So the Imam said, I wonder who's gonna be the husband and who's gonna be the wife.
Right.
That was it
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
So naturally that marriage didn't happen.
Yeah. And that's the second part of their of their story there and it transfers to here is that their view of women, irregardless of what the Quran says, is that women are less than second-class citizens to them. I don't care what kind of a face they try to put on it. When it comes right down to it, women are less than second-class citizens.
I guess also that would go for little boys too.
Well, that you go a little bit farther east for the majority of that. You get into Afghanistan and Pakistan in particular, where they actually dress young boys beginning around the age of 10. They dress them as girls so that they don't feel so bad when they're raping.
I just had a discussion with an Afghan in DC on that. Young brothers at the university, what we call, or they call it, UDC. And we sat there and talked a while on that. And he never denied anything to me.
No,
So,
they have a name. They have a name for it that's a culturally accepted name and practice. It's
a
a part of their culture. And these very same people will look down their nose at you.
Oh yeah.
When in truth, because of the way that we were given the Quran, there is no people truer to the Quran than the African American Muslim, the sincere African American Muslim. There's nobody pure to the Quran. I mean, and sometimes because we're so pure in it, in competitive situations, it actually, on the short term, can act as a detriment to us because we're not willing to cheat and bend the rules and all those type things to get ahead, to get a win. And they'll cheat you in a heartbeat.
In a minute.
And then run grab their prayer rug as soon as the money's in the bank. And these things aren't talked about openly, but I'm glad you had the conversation in DC because these are things that need to be known when decisions are being made about leadership and guidance and the path forward for all of us worldwide.
Yeah, that's why they want to keep Epstein buried deep. 6 feet under. 6 feet under.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why we also have to be very vigilant individually and as groups in making sure that we manage our affairs in such a way that we don't start bleeding over into practices that they have, because they're not Islamic.
Right.
Some of their stuff is not Islamic practices, cultural practice.
They'd be talking about hadith and this and hadith that. Yeah, well, you do you. I do me.
Yeah, I mean, there is that, Rabbani, but there's another stage. There's another stage that actually calls for true leadership, and that's leading them away from their bad practices. I mean, it's a tougher fight, but it's a fight worth engaging in when the opportunity exists to lead them away from their bad practices. Because I mean, otherwise you can't call yourself a people that are leadership, people of the middle way, the people that everybody comes to for proper guidance. You can't assume that position. You know, I see that, and sometimes I wish I didn't see it. I really and truly wish I didn't see certain things. I mean, I saw it yesterday at the No Kings, and I know that I'm not supposed to be that judgmental. You know, when you're fighting a common foe, you know, you're supposed to. I mean, and I guess I did to a certain extent when you know I'm out there to rally and march. That you look over certain things because for a minute you're united to defeat something that you can all agree on is bad or evil or whatever connotation you want to put on it. But I recognize that the moment that the terror is passed, that those very same people that I was marching with, we're gonna have words. Because I'm not a communist. And I may have marched with you yesterday, but at some point in time, you're gonna understand I'm not in agreement with you. If you didn't already know that. And the same thing with some of the other groups that were there.
Mm. Well, I don't want to even argue the point, but I'm not a marcher.
Oh, you didn't do the Million Man March?
No.
You didn't get
And
on the bus?
I told him, oh man, listen, you don't want me on the bus. You don't want me on the Million Man March. Well, I keep telling you all that. I ain't like that. I wasn't built like that. That's all. And the best thing to do is just go ahead and, like my mother said, go about your business, right? Because my way and the conceivable way of protesting. No, I follow Muhammad the Prophet. If he protests, I'll protest. If he didn't, if he fought, he fought. I fought. So that's it. It's simple for me. And I prepare myself for those eventualities, mentally, spiritually, and physically. So, you know, and that's all I gotta say about it, man. You know. And we have a method of educating and dawah. If you don't like it, good. No problem. We'll have our Juma every Friday, and we'll address whatever the person comes up with. We'll address it right there, right on the spot. You could learn, or you don't have to learn.
So back
Mm-hmm.
back when Savior's Day was a requirement. Were you on the bus? Were you in the car? Out on the train? How are you getting there? Were you with a lot of brothers or were you traveling on your own?
No, just a couple of I think a couple of brothers on the first Savior's Day I went to. We flew from Washington to Chicago, and then yeah, and then the second was the same way. You know, I was living there. No, 75 was, did I fly? I think I don't know if no, I didn't drive because you don't drive from Washington to Chicago in the wintertime going through parts of Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Maryland because of the weather, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that much, you know. So no, that's it. You know, some didn't come, then some didn't go, some did go. So, and even then, I knew who was sincere and who wasn't. It's by the works, man. You know. No, I just don't. I don't. That ain't my. That ain't my. My. My style. Because I've seen too much of that. Hmm. My father, uncles, they wasn't. No, they wasn't like that.
So as the galvanizing force, so obviously Prophet Muhammad, we would all adhere to the call if we had lived in those days and times. For those of you who were in the nation, that the call was put out by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, you'd have gotten up off your couch or out of your queen size bed and you would have answered the call. In the days of Imam W.D. Muhammad from 75 to 08, do you feel the same way about that 33-year period of time? Would you have gotten up and answered the call if he had called you?
Of course, of course.
So that's over
You
now,
remember
though.
when?
That's over now, though, right? That
Yeah,
ended
you
in
remember?
September of
Yeah,
08.
well, actually, it was. You know, like I said, you know how it was when what's his name? What's his name?
Kala?
Kalas
Oh, Kalas.
took
Okay.
over. Yeah, yeah, and the imam said, "Don't go down there," you know, because you know, let them deal with that, you know. So no, I mean, you know, when you I've had pretty much the same disposition all throughout the time when they tried to just storm Temple Number 4. You know, we didn't. Of course, we didn't have any. All we had was the ability to go ahead and fight them. And then when and that was at the masjid, Temple Number 4. But and the police tried to come into the masjid. This was almost similar to what happened in New York. Then the second thing was a personal thing when we went to visit the Muslim brother who uh, sheltered the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. What was brother? Minister David. And when one group that was in Temple Number 4 heard that we were going to visit uh, Minister David, who had that's where the Honorable Elijah Muhammad stayed, and he protected him, you know, and got, you know, and was supporting him by taking him all around. Well, we went to visit him because we were down at the prison, Lorton, because he lived down near Lorton, which is south of D.C. And I don't know what happened. There was a group of people at the temple who were like some captains and lieutenants, and people would start talking about I don't know, we were trying to do something. Something really foolish, and they came by my house when my wife and children were asking for me, right? So I didn't, and when I found out that happened, I went straight to the temple and came in, closed that door with all the officials in there, and I told them if they ever come again and do that, then be prepared for the worst consequences. Okay? And I was by myself. I didn't have nobody. It was the captain, 2 lieutenants, and another, I don't know, there was somebody else in there. I think it was the secretary. But I closed that door and I told them exactly what I was going to do if they ever did that again, looking for me. I'm here now. So after that, I ain't had no more problems with them. Because I know they wasn't interested in going to the full length. So that's the way I was. That's the way I am, you know. I just can't go. No, nobody's gonna put me in a situation where I don't know what kind of outcome. What are we doing? You know, what are we doing? We trying to give a message to the people who already are cowards and criminals. I ain't no time for that. And when they want to make a move, we make a move. If not, stay in your place. Because it ain't going nowhere. That's me. That's just me, bro. You know. And it's the way I was raised up from 2nd grade, bro. That's the way it is. And I never had much never had too many friends because of that. You know. And the friends that I had, they were just friends that that I really didn't, that hung out with me. I didn't hang out with too many people. I had 1 or 2 to this day. I'm in South Carolina. I have cousins all around, but they if I go visit them, knock on the doors, they want to listen and hear what we have to say, Islamically, So either you're going to deal with it or not, it's up to that person's degree of faith and training and principles. That's all. And that's where I stand on it. No, I don't do that. I don't be marching.
Well, let me say, I guess I'm a selective marcher. And I know over the years in Fayetteville, I'm just speaking of where I am. I'm not speaking where other people, different circumstances. But in 1991, Brother Muhammad Ali came to Fayetteville. And we had a march from the Market Square. Some people say it's the Market House, Slave House. And Market Square is in the center of town, and it's historically speaking known as the market. And I guess back in the day, the farmers sold their products at the market and whatever. But it's been known that slaves were sold at the market. And because farmers and other Caucasians sold their household goods at the market, their assets, it might have been farming equipment or whatever. And one of the assets they owned was slaves. So anyway, we let it march, and we called it From Slavery to Freedom. And we marched from the market house. We marched to the market house. And then we marched back from the market house to the masjid. And Ali led that march. That was the first instance of us marching. All right. Then under Trump's first term, he had the Muslim ban, right? And some of the younger Yemeni brothers wanted to march. They wanted to create a protest. So I guess they came and asked me, and I helped them put together a protest against the Muslim ban. Now, at that protest, you had the Quakers came and supported us. The Jews came and supported us. Other organizations came to support, and they protested the Muslim ban. Then we had an idea. We need to, we need to have something at the masjid. So we had it come stand with us. Over the years we stood with you. Now it's an opportunity to come stand with us, and we assembled at the masjid. The idea was to assemble at the masjid on Friday after Jummah. Some of our friends came to Jummah. The Quaker group came to Jummah. Other groups came to Jummah. So after Jummah, we went out in front of the masjid, and there were about 300 people out there responded to come stand with us. All walks of life. All right. So we did that then. So there's benefit in I see it as benefit because we were able to develop friends and working relationship with people other than Muslims. And unfortunately, most of those people were Caucasian, African Americans. Especially the Christians. They're real slow to get involved in things like that, especially when it comes. We're talking about Muslims. So we can see a benefit for that. All right. So I don't see any problem with the No Kings event because this is just American citizens, regardless of their station, even their proclivities. These are American citizens that are standing up for our rights. And it just so happened that the rights they're trying to stand up for also coincides with our rights as African Americans that we had ingrained into the law of this land. And now the Caucasian is trying to destroy the institutions that gave us a little bit of rights. So I don't see any problem with that. I can see a benefit from that. I can see a relationship with that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I don't see any problem with that. And also, the other groups is using it as a way of the only way we can stop this thing is right now in the short term is to vote. Because the Caucasians want to cheat. They want to change the law to favor them over the will of the people. That's what I call cheating. Right? So I don't see any problem with that. That doesn't mean that's the only tactic we use. That's not to favor one tactic over another. Because all the tactics we can use and get together are needed. We just have to make sure they're working. We're working on it.
Mm-hmm.
We have to make sure there's a group giving some thought to how can we can get advancement in other areas. And I'm not saying one group is better than another group or whatever. But I think Imam Muhammad killed that idea of, what we said in the first resurrection. I was there. We don't join the dead. Remember that? And a lot of us in there, we don't join the dead. Well, if we don't do something, we don't worry about joining the dead. Because we're going to be dead.
No, well, look, the point is this. Everybody has a strategy to get something done.
Exactly.
But for me, I don't have that kind of, that's not my way. Okay? That's not my way.
Strategy.
Yeah, of
you
course.
have your strategy.
But it's not my way.
Thank Allah for that.
Exactly.
There are others that have another strategy.
I know.
Thank Allah.
That's why I said, like I said, I'm not contending with any one way to or another way to get a point across. It's just it's just the way I am, That's all. And somebody want to bring a point, to structure, a wrong, as I said, there are many ways, like I said, and there are many examples in the life of the Muslim life under Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be. And Allah is the best knower. Let me put it that way. But that's just I've been, that, like I said, that's all these different conditions and occasions, from the riots and all of these other things that happened in DC and throughout the country. I just, it wasn't my way, because
Yeah.
I want to know, and I want to dictate the outcome. I want the outcome, and like I said, I'm not condemning people what they want to do and how they want to do it. That's not my my way. My way is understanding and dealing with from my perspective, from my experiences, and from the position that I hold and want to maintain it. And that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's perfectly fine. I mean, throughout history, there are countless stories of very small groups having, and individuals acting on their own, having significant impact on changing the course of history and making things better. Who, they were working for the same goals as larger groups, but didn't feel a strict allegiance to those larger groups. And I think you always have to have those individuals and smaller groups that are doing their thing. I mean, I used to call that helter skelter, but it's probably a little bit more organized and thought out than that. But it reminds me of the Hijra and an event that happened about 17, 18 months after the Hijra, when the Prophet and his companions organized a raid on a major caravan moving from Mecca, I think, to Syria. That's where that caravan was going. And it wasn't just the fact that it was a raid, because in those days and times that was a fairly common occurrence to raid a caravan. But the fact that the Prophet and his companions put that plan together and carried it out during one of the sacred months was significant, in that there was like a full disruption of all thought, common patterns, what the quote unquote authority figures, basically saying the Meccans, their whole control mechanism of how they thought things were going to happen and what they had to be concerned about and what could possibly interrupt their prosperous routine and all that type of thing. That they never thought something was going to happen in the sacred month. And they never thought that this small band that had escaped to Medina would have the audacity to go after one of their major caravans. And it changed the whole thinking of the entire region of Arabia, of what is now, Arabia. Changed everybody's thinking of vulnerability, of audacity, of what the current setup of rules and all that stuff meant. And do we now have to start paying attention to these dusty little people that we ran out of town? Do we have to give them some credence? And I do really and truly, from everything that I've read and everything that I saw and heard yesterday, not just in Dallas, but around the country, I believe that it got some people's attention. And that it's going to cause a reaction. And I'm kind of waiting to see what that reaction is going to be. It'll be on the upper level, the executive level, let us say, in and around the current administration. But more importantly, on the lower November 2026 ballot level of individuals in congressional districts around the country, of what their reaction will be. And if there will start to be movement back toward some semblance of at least what we thought this country represented, at least in language, if not in policy or legislation. So that's kind of what I'm waiting to see. Because the numbers, the people, it was huge yesterday. I mean, Dallas was one of the smaller crowds with, 4,000 or 5,000 people. Dallas was small compared to other parts of the country. So, but I'm more for it. I was kind of between the two, not exactly like Rabbani, Lone Ranger, but definitely I've never been a marcher. I mean, the only time in the last 30 years that I was a part of a march, my younger son basically shamed me into, marching, 3-4 years ago, after the events in Minneapolis, Black Lives Matter, participating in a march, Black Lives Matter march, because he was traveling. He was leaving town to go join marches. And then there was one here, and he had to convince me to go. And I went more in support of him than in love of marching. But it did remind me, all the events of that day, of the fact that there is solidarity and there are people that care who I don't see, I don't talk to, I don't even know existed, that I didn't know cared about. And I'm not 100% they were there just for African American lives. Probably not 100%. But at some level, they care. And that was instructive. And it was really funny that day because I think the speakers, there were about 8 speakers that day after the march. We marched to a park in downtown Dallas. There were about 8 speakers. And I want to say 6 of them, excuse me, were either Hispanic or Native American. There was one Black sister that spoke of the 8 speakers that I witnessed that day. And yesterday, there were African American speakers. There were more African American speakers, but there was not a heavy African American presence. And I think I walked for 30 minutes in and around the crowd, just dipping in, dipping out, circling the perimeter, getting into the middle of it, visiting booths, vendor booths. I mean, everybody's out there at all the, AFL, CIO, UAW, this group and that group, looking for African Americans, and looking for any other Muslim, any other Muslim. I saw no other Muslims. I saw lesbians wearing, what are those things called? Kafiyas, Palestinian headdress. I saw gay men wearing those things. I saw people with purple hair, pink hair, and blue hair. People carried communist flags. Everything else, I didn't run into one other Muslim. Then I saw very few African Americans. And the ones that I saw, they weren't all gay, but they kind of fell into what I always consider the arts crowd. They were way too cool for me. And I'm not saying that I'm bad. I'm saying I'm not that cool. So I do think that on matters like this, that there are more people, both African American and Muslim, who follow Rabbani's path than the opposite. Right or wrong, at least here, because this is not the first time I've witnessed this.
Well, I think well, clearly that's right. Like here in Fayetteville, I had to remind the people I'm not the only Muslim in Fayetteville. There's others. Y'all need to get out there and represent. But see, where a lot of them I feel that they're sort of like the Christian fundamentalists. Except the Christian Caucasian fundamentalists, they don't like gays, they don't like lesbians, and they don't like Negroes. Right? So that's why they're so turned on to this. And they're being hypocritical. What is the worst sin in the Quran? What does Allah say the worst sin is in the Quran?
Well, the worst sin obviously is denying Allah's omnipotence.
All right. Is alcohol a sin? Drinking
Consumption
alcohol.
of alcohol is a sin, yes.
How about gambling?
Gambling is a sin.
And how does Allah describe gambling and intoxicants? As the amal of shaitan, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm all right if I hang with a alcoholic or a gambler. Oh, and I'm not gonna put it that way because I don't hang with gays and lesbians, so I don't hang with either one of them. But I treat them all the same. I don't want nothing to do with their ways.
Right.
But as human beings, I have a connection. So here are people that want to abuse and oppress human beings. As an American citizen, here are people that want to take away the rights and protections of American citizenship based on where they perceive their actions to be. And I can't stand up for that. When they're calling on they're trying to undo the same legislation that afforded me as an African American to have American citizenship and the protections. There was a long time we couldn't get nothing for a long time. So here's people that want to take that away. Now, under the guise that they're fighting against homosexuality and whatever. So I'm saying we have to make that kind of analysis. So if I'm out here fighting against the Muslim ban and there's some gays and lesbians that want to fight also, that don't mean they can come to the masjid and promote their behavior, right?
Right.
That's the problem. So we gotta, I don't know.
It's not a dilemma for me because I see it in the form of human life.
Who or what?
Human life.
Okay. Well,
That if I'm in the effort
mm-hmm.
of preserving human life, whether that's bandaging a bad wound, removing a bullet from somebody, saving them from drowning, whatever the case may be that preserves a human life, and the
Mm-hmm.
person helping me is gay or lesbian or just left the pool hall where they gambled away their paycheck, I'm not going to push that help away because we are endeavoring to save a human life. When we've accomplished that, we can either just go our separate ways or we can have we can have a discussion about God's plan for man. But in the effort to do the greater good, I am not going to push away the help that God sends me. And I don't think most people have come to the same decision that I have.
Well, I can definitely say most Muslims haven't come to that decision. Even though it's getting there. Even my immigrant brothers. I was at an immigrant mass a couple weeks ago. I passed it going home, and they were in there make Isha, so I stopped in and made it with them, and had a good conversation with a Muslim brother. Yeah. Right. And I just basically told him, I said, well, brother, based on the way you're getting treated, I said, don't you understand that in the eyes of these right wingers, they see you and your people the way they see African Americans. Ain't no different. And he said, well, brother, we need to find out. But that was just him talking. Ain't the rest of them didn't say that. But he's coming around. He's coming around. So they're finding out very quickly. Like I told one of my clients, I said, now you realize you're just another Negro.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. Because they wanted to be white so bad. And the Caucasians treating them like Negroes.
Yeah, it's a conundrum. I think it's a conundrum for us because I know the feelings of the majority of my very Christian family, external family, everything from sisters. My brothers are gone, but surviving sisters to first cousins, second cousins, etc. That those that they see as other, not those that are not acceptable in the Christian creed, even if they're close family members, they're shunned. And in the case of those that happen to be lesbian or gay, they are shunned unceremoniously in the harshest of terms. So if you do that to close family, I know what you're going to do. So, I mean, if that is a chasm that can't be bridged, then there's a whole bunch of people who, by all rights, should be fighting for the rights of all people who are ambivalent and are reduced to only thinking about self. Thinking about self only is a realm of the shaitan. You end up a loser, whether you know it or not. If that 100% goes, that's the opposite. This is just me talking. I'm gonna go out and tell everybody I read this. That's the opposite of it to me. Just the Khalifa is all encompassing. And not just Earth, all the cosmos, everything. Because if the angels could laugh, they would have laughed and accepted that one. Is it really and truly means that we're concerned about everything and everybody. It's impossible. It's impossible. But you have to attempt it. So yeah, Adam, what you attempting to do there in Fayetteville, that's exactly what we're supposed to try to do, is try to do everything we can to bring everybody together for the common good, whatever that we decide that is.
Wow. I don't know if it's the total solution, but we're just trying to do the best we can based on an understanding based in the area that we live. You know, it might not work in other areas, but I'm not saying it's really working here.
It should. So, and I'll say that with this comment. Number one, you have the Quran, which gives you a very good working format of what your goal should be. And then if you take the Sunnah and Sirah of the Prophet, you have a pretty good working framework of almost step by step of processes and procedures that you take and decisions that you might have to make to bring certain things into fruition. And you got over 1,400 years of history since the Prophet of lessons learned, of adherence to those processes and procedures, guidance, and what that brought, and what deviation brought. And it gives you an opportunity to move certain things in and certain things out. A template, so to speak. Again, not perfect. But if done correctly, and if done with proper consultation, probably the best that the world can produce. And I think that in a lot of instances, a lot of groups are attempting that very thing and working very diligently at it. And the cultural roadblocks of engaging larger topics, that could be the next step of taking those models that we know work and just engaging others, other groups, other people. And trusting them to not violate our efforts. Like the example that you made of discussing certain things with the gay and lesbian community. But you don't want them coming to the masjid and violating the sanctity of the masjid. Not by their mere presence, they're human beings, but by their actions. Same thing you would say of anyone of Jewish faith, or Christian faith, or anything else. I don't want some Baptist person coming in the masjid and in the middle of the khutbah deciding to burst out and bring it into She or the Leaves or whatever that song is, spontaneously from the back row. Anyone on any other kind of action that would disrupt my prayer. But I think we have to engage as groups, or as Rabbani does it as an individual, his preferred way. He's doing the same thing. But the next time that there's some large event of any kind, I hope I'm not the only Muslim that I recognize. I hope there's some other brothers and sisters that I can greet. It's noon where you guys are, for most of you. We talked ourselves out this morning in preparation for a meeting about financial institutions.
We'll see if I can find out what happened with Dr. Ali.
Okay, because I think we're all ready. I mean, I'm prepared.
I'll send it out.
Okay, and we'll see. Maybe we can get together with him and his folks next Sunday, and maybe this particular time I will remember to send him the invitation.
Okay.
Because I definitely dropped the ball on that. Adam, you want to close us out this morning?
Yes, I can. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. آمين.
Ameen. All right, Omar, how are you doing, brother? You did not speak a word. How are you
I'm
feeling?
doing good. I can't complain. I was just listening to everything.
Okay. I did listen to your show this past Thursday. It was excellent.
Alhamdulillah.
Look forward to this upcoming presentation as well. I take that back. It was Wednesday. Omar is on Wednesday mornings, 8 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time, 7 o'clock Central Time. Correct?
That's correct.
Okay. On AM 360. Yeah. So it's on my calendar. Look forward to it. And Brother Adam Bia back with us on Thursday morning, 7 o'clock Eastern Time, 8 o'clock Central Time. Did I get that correct? I think that's correct.
Yes, sir.
8 o'clock
8 o'clock
Eastern Time,
Yes,
7 o'clock Central Time.
I guess.
Money sense. Good series of
I'd rather have
programs.
Eastern time.
But yeah, good series of programs running there. Good discussions. Look forward to that. And Sister Khalida, assalamu alaikum. Thank you for joining us this morning. And she may be doing double duty. She is usually multitasking at the masjid on Sunday mornings, classes and things of that nature. Her program, Narrative Aspirations, is at 7 o'clock Eastern Time, 6 o'clock Central Time every Wednesday evening. And she's had a series of really good programs there as well. So we will say goodbye for another Sunday. You guys have a great rest of the day, and hope the week upcoming is fantastic.
Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.